The latest on Joe Burrow, Zac Taylor on number 9, plus reacting to the Bengals practice squad. That and more coming up right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com outside of Paycor Stadium, where I just left practice. And yes, Joe Burrow practicing for a second straight day. It's a really good sign with the regular season just over a week away. Yes, a week from Sunday, the Bengals will be in Cleveland to play the Browns. And while Zac Taylor didn't go as far to say that Burrow will be out there, I'm willing to say it. I think everything points to Burrow playing week 1, which is a really, really good sign. You're going to hear from Zac in just a second. Just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Also, I'm rocking the Rivertown Inquiry gear. Get yours at rivertowninquiry.com. And let's start with Joe Burrow. He was out there again today and pretty much doing exactly what we saw him do yesterday. There was no sleeve, no brace, there was no limp, there was no wincing, there was no nothing. Just like the normal Joe Burrow. Even in his back pedal, I was watching his calf. Was he favoring the injured right calf versus the left calf? No. I think that this was always the plan, and Zac Taylor referred to that a bit today. I led off the press conference by asking him about Joe Burrow. He referred to the recovery plan, kind of how this was always the goal to get him back out there this week and on the practice field. So let's get to Zac Taylor here. This is about 2.5 minutes or so of Zac Taylor answering questions about the franchise, Joe Burrow.
I thought he looked good. It was good to get him out there. It certainly energizes the team when you get a chance to get your starting quarterback back out there. So I thought he looked good.
Is the plan for him to do exactly what he did yesterday, more or less?
Yeah, it'll be very similar.
Zac, since we are physically watching the entire practice, and there's no injury report yet, is he still kind of in a limited fashion, or is he full go?
Yeah, we're just taking it day to day with how we're going to integrate him in there.
When y'all are looking at acclimating him ahead of the season opener, what are the things that you're looking for to make sure that you feel comfortable putting more load on him to get ready for that week 1?
I don't think there's a defined checklist that we need to see. Again, it was just good to get him out there with the team and call him plays in the huddle and all that good stuff at practice. So I think that was encouraging for everybody.
Was it key to get him in maybe this week so you have these 2 practices before the long weekend, before game week?
We've had a timeline that we've operated by for a while now, and this is just part of that timeline.
How often was he able to work out and throw during recovery? Was it semi-frequently, frequently?
I think he's done a great job making sure that he's ready to go when his number was called.
How do you describe the job Bose and his staff did here over the past 35-plus days on this one?
Yeah, I'd give praise to Joey Bose and Matt Summers and Nick Cosgray and the whole training staff and the whole strength staff. I think our players have a lot of confidence in those guys. And again, that's a key thing is those 2 departments working together, with great chemistry and great communication. And that's what we have from Matt Summers and his staff and Joey Bose and his staff. And so they're both big pieces of the puzzle of rehabbing players like Joe and very, very confident in both their abilities, and they've just done a great job, not only with Joe, but several other players we've had over the years. And so that's probably one of the relationships you don't get a chance to see behind this. Obviously, you guys don't get a chance to see that, but I think it's critical to highlight that and the confidence our players have in those 2 departments led by those 2 men.
Zac, how important is it to get the timing down? Obviously, the physical element is one part of it, but the timing between not only for Joe to feel comfortable, but for his teammates to reacclimate if that's necessary.
Yeah, it's important. Every quarterback's a little bit different, how the ball comes out of the hands and the timing, and it didn't look like he'd missed many practices.
I know Joe's so good at ad-libbing, it's a big part of his game. You guys had conversations about just trying to dial that back until he really is fully ready to go.
Just take it day to day. It was good to get him out there yesterday, and again, we'll continue to work through every single day that we got before this game.
Joe Burrow looks like the same old Joe Burrow, and that's exactly what you want, especially with the regular season. As we record this, 10 days away now. My goodness, I can't believe that. It's 10 days away. And assuming Burrow is out there, well, then Jake Browning will be the backup. Will Grier, the Bengals signed to the practice squad. I'm going to share some thoughts on him in just a second. But before I do that, I want to tell you about an event that I'm hoping you can show up to. I'm hoping Bengals fans everywhere can show up to. It's at Holy Grail Banks, and it's the official release party of Enter the Jungle, a book about the Bengals that I wrote, partnered with Lake 7 Creative, the publisher, and I'm really, really excited about how it turned out. Dan Horde wrote the foreword, and it goes season by season, covering all things Cincinnati Bengals. Win-loss records, starters, all-decade teams, highlighting every single Super Bowl run, significant figures, the moments from when they were founded to the high points, the low points, the biggest question marks in franchise history, all of it in one spot. And you can pre-order yours by going to CincinnatiBengalsBook.com, or show up at Holy Grail Banks, where I'll be there. We can hang out. We can talk Bengals. It is after the first game, but it's before the first home game, Friday night, September 15th at 7 p.m. at Holy Grail Banks. And the reason that date makes the most sense to me is if you're coming in town, the out-of-towners will come in Friday. Let's have a few cold ones. Let's talk some Bengals, and you can take home a book in person that costs $30, and it's going to be worth it. I promise. It's $30. It's a hardcover book. Really nice, crisp photos going all the way back from when the franchise was founded throughout history, all 55 seasons in one spot. And who knows, maybe I'll have to update it with the Super Bowl run this year. But let's get to Will Grier in the Bengals practice squad. Really hope to see you there. I think the Bengals, from a practice squad standpoint, are exactly where they had hoped to be. They were able to keep everybody that they wanted. And Raymond Johnson III signed with Detroit. He was obviously a preseason fan favorite, really productive. I'm not sure why they didn't opt to sign him to the practice squad. Maybe they didn't want to bring him onto the active roster. The fact that he signed with the Lions, I think, is interesting. Maybe he looked at it and saw more of a potential for opportunity there. But Raymond Johnson III, that's the one where you look at it, you're like, dang, it would have been nice to keep him. But, I mean, from Dominique Davis to Stanley Morgan Jr., you're able to sign Demetric Felton from the Browns, who is the lone running back on the practice squad. I think that's interesting on how he shakes out. Where does he fit? Will Grier, I think, was a huge addition. He's going to wear number 7 for the Bengals, has practiced back-to-back days. Felton going to wear 34, is at practice today. And Grier, to me, he's interesting because he produced really well and played at a high level in that final game for Dallas. At the same time, I look at what he brings to this room, and will eventually he be able to compete with Jake Browning for that backup job? I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. He's got to pick up the playbook. He's got to learn the playbook inside and out. But it is a really nice addition to that room, and I do think he's an upgrade from what Trevor Siemian showed us in training camp. Siemian just didn't look like the guy that we've seen throughout his NFL career, and whether it was the fact that he maybe didn't pick up the playbook as well, maybe he knew the playbook inside and out and just wasn't comfortable. I don't know exactly what it was, but obviously he didn't produce at a high level in camp and in the preseason. I think Will Grier certainly helps that quarterback room a big deal. So overall, all systems go. The Bengals, they practiced yesterday, they practiced today, then they have a few days off. They're back at it on Monday. We are going to have you covered throughout the season. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let anybody know that, because I get asked about events all the time, make sure you tell someone about September 15th. I really hope to see you there. Holy Grail Banks and Enter the Jungle, the release party. I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to show off the new book because I think Bengals fans are going to love it. I think you're going to love it. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Shout out to Andrew Fox Miller for editing a bunch of stuff. And we have a special, by the way, we have a special feature with Ted Karras coming next week. That's right, Ted Karras coming next week. And if you watch the Orlando Brown Jr. sit down, the second one, part 2, you saw a little teaser about that. So stay tuned for that. CBT is the place to be. And until next time, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.